Jibuno. President Muhammadu Buhari returns to Abuja after successful outing at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating abandoned projects in power sector directs permanent secretary, others to appear before it. World Bank scores Nigeria among best countries in ease of doing business in the world. President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after successful and significant outing at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president, accompanied by the governors of Nasarawa and Osun states, arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in the early hours of Saturday. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, and some personalities on the president's entourage described Nigeria's participation in the general debate and other high-level side events of the Global Forum as remarkably outstanding.
A source of great pride, to everybody. It really showed that Nigeria is really taking the initiative and being proactive in a lot of the areas that will help Nigeria to attain the objectives, the Sustainable Development Goals, and also as a model for other countries. Mr. President really dwelt on the substance, security issues, but very importantly, Sustainable Development Goals that Nigeria is making very concrete efforts to address, eradicating extreme poverty, and the steps, social investment programs that Nigeria is taking to address these, and security issues and steps we are taking. And so it was really a very, very good overview.
I have with a few people that I've met, it's quite instructive. For instance, the issue of the SDG, the 17 goals of the SDG, once one start to address those goals, that is the way to actually ensure that you have opportunity of bringing some development to the people generally. There must be collective action in respect of poverty eradication. Poverty is not the good thing to anybody. Poverty breeds war. When people have things to eat, when they live a normal life, they are not likely to be involved in crime.
The situation we find ourselves in Nasarawa is similar to one of the issues discussed during the SDG presentation. We are fighting security challenge by going to the root cause of the security in the first place. We are embracing the National Livestock Transformation Project, identifying, in fact, Nasarawa has more locations than any of the 7 pioneer states, that are approaching it. So we are taking it from that angle. We are also doing a lot of advocacy, a lot of sensitization for people to understand the importance of living in peace. We have to find Nigeria's solutions to our Nigerian challenges.
The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in partnership with the Kaduna State Government, has equipped farmers in Jere Kagarko local government area of Kaduna State with farming implements and agro-inputs. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that 247 beneficiaries of the gesture were profiled and trained on all aspects of vegetable value chain.
The United Nations joint program under the Food Africa project is designed towards increasing productivity, wealth creation, as well as addressing post-harvest losses in Kaduna State and environs. The capacity of the beneficiaries were enhanced in production, harvesting, farm records, and financial management. Leventis Foundation carried out the 7-week training exercise.
Each of these trainings, they are all unique. They are different. We also have the harvesting, processing, storage training.
Permanent Secretary, Kaduna State Ministry for Agriculture and Forestry, Sabi Usani Ismail, described the FAO partnership as the right direction towards improving the farmers' income in the state.
We are going to also reinforce our extension network to continue to monitor their field activity, to guide them with the relevant linkages in market and in finance, and wherever we see prospect of derailing, we won't even allow them to derail, continue to guide and support them.
That we know them, we know where they are, we know their attitude, their behavior. But however, it is good for a prompt monitoring and also advice, and also ensure that this equipment, time to time, we see how they are doing. If it requires maintenance, we see how little we can come in to assist them.
Food and Agriculture Organization had already distributed farming implements and agro inputs to all the 347 farmers in the state. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The World Bank has listed Nigeria and 4 African countries among the top 20 countries that approved and carried out reforms in ease of doing business. Now, the bank says countries are selected based on the number of reforms and on how much their ease of doing business score improved. Let's get more details with Musa Baba Aliyu again.
Based on the reforms introduced by the federal government that are not only attracting investment but also making it easy for small-scale businesses to strive in the country. The reforms include the introduction of an electronic platform for registering business premises online, eliminating the need to appear in person. Other reforms that counted in Nigeria's favor include the clearance given to certified engineers to conduct inspections for new electricity connections.
Have a government that is working around this line. Right now, if you want to start up a business in Nigeria, it's very easy. The CAC, even with your phone, you can register a small business name. That's because the government has made a deliberate effort to relax some rules, some regulations through the Corporate Affairs Commission. That is one point of creating ease of doing business. Another point is the point of location of where you want to start your business. With the relaxed opening up of the economy easily.
Other African countries listed alongside Nigeria are Djibouti, Kenya, Togo and Zimbabwe. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, the Buhari Media Organization says a directive by President Muhammadu Buhari that budgets of government-owned enterprises are captured in the nation's annual budget is a welcome idea. A statement by the chairman of the organization, Niya Kinshiju, the move which was captured in the 2020-2022 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper will bring sanity to government operations in more than one way. The group also hailed the president for keeping to his pledge of submitting the ETF and FSP early enough to ensure that the budget cycle is returned to the January-December fiscal year. In addition, BMO commended the National Assembly leadership for promptly forwarding the MTF and FSP to the finance committees of the 2 legislative chambers with a mandate to submit a report within 1 week. Now, the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating abandoned projects in the power sector has directed the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Power to appear before it on Wednesday, October 2nd, 2019, with documents on the current status of the Mambila Power Project. The Transmission Company of Nigeria and the Niger Delta Power Holding Company were also issued similar directives by the committee. National Assembly correspondent Vivian Idekpefo reports.
Performance of the power sector and in view of government's investments to improve service delivery. This investigative public hearing is to ascertain why results are slow despite all efforts.
The committee is at liberty in line with sections 88 and 89 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, which is the grand norm of the land, to invite any organization, agency, person, either still in active service or retired, to make clarifications where necessary.
Deputy Chairman of the Ad hoc Committee, Bello Usman Kubo, sought answers from stakeholders present.
Getting this money is through appropriation and generation. IGR generation, because there is a small fraction of a percentage that's supposed to go to you that you refuse to tell us.
The distribution money, they're owing TCN so much money, over 200 billion now. And we cannot recover that money and say this is what we have generated.
TCN operates 3 licenses: Transmission Services Provision License, the Systems Operations License, and the Market Operations License. All these licenses are subject to NERC regulation, and NERC defines the tariff that they charge for these 3 services.
Members of the ad hoc committee raised observations on issues such as insurance of substations, compensation on right-of-way, and the death of a contractor, which resulted to a stalled project.
Tell us whether you supervised that job, whether you were involved in the supervision of the job that I did for you.
The certificate we issue now as certificate of inspection, testing, and certificate, but the certificate for the payment for the was issued by ROA.
And the payment was because you are the owner of the project.
Yes.
We thought we were solving a problem. The fact that we are executing agency, we are under the same ministry executing agency.
The ad hoc committee expressed displeasure at the inability of the agencies to respond clearly to some issues raised and requested the agencies to submit audited accounts accompanied by relevant documents for proper guidance. From the National Assembly, Vivian Idekbefo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration is committed to a robust welfare package for all civil servants using the new Minimum Wage Act. This was contained in his message at this year's Nigerian Civil Service Week dinner and award night at the State House Conference Center, Abuja. Mitaire Ikben reports.
Onyechi Eberundu, a civil servant, has not allowed her physical challenge affect her productivity and output.
I do not see it as a challenge doing my work because I only have a physical disability with my legs and not with my brain.
She proudly joins scores of other civil servants on the honors list for the Presidential Merit Award and special commendation by the head of the Civil Service of the Federation for hard work and integrity in the civil service. With such national recognition, Onyechi and other awardees say they are greatly motivated to put in their best for the nation.
If you do what you do well, you can just be picked among others. So just keep doing what we are doing because we have passion for it.
And when that passion is there, whatever comes your way, you will do your best.
You cannot know who is watching you. Always try to put in your best without minding that is work as if you are the only one.
Aminu Bisala, who recently retired as permanent secretary in the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, was singled out for the Distinguished Presidential Merit Award. He says the civil service has what it takes to drive government's next level agenda.
The service is very rich. All that is required is a little more discipline and then holding people accountable.
Acting head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi, said the awards are in line with the Buhari administration's policy of rewarding hard work and encouraging innovation among Nigerian workers.
I wish to appreciate all those who have worked assiduously to deliver on the administration's agenda and implore us all to sustain the tempo of hard work and diligence.
Chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission, Tukur Ngawa, read President Buhari's address at the dinner.
I also wish to reiterate the unflinching commitment of the administration to provide robust welfare for all civil servants, as aptly demonstrated by the recent Minimum Wage Act and the recent directives to the Honorable Minister of Labour to expedite action on consequential adjustment negotiations on minimum wage. We have also approved the constitution of the Presidential Committee on Salaries and Allowances to handle all requests after the conclusion of the consequential adjustment negotiations.
The civil service remains the machinery through which all policies and programs of government are implemented. It is hoped that this recognition of the foot soldiers will spur others to greater productivity. From the Conference Center, Presidential Villa, Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has reacted to the reported rescue of 400 persons in a building in Kaduna where the detainees were allegedly abused and tortured. The center has been widely described as a house of torture and a place of human slavery. The president says he is glad that the Muslim authorities have dismissed the notion of the place being an Islamic school, while commending the police for discovering the den. The president condemned the abuse of rights under any form and reiterates the federal government's commitment to ensuring that every child goes to school to stop unwanted cultural practices that amount to the abuse of children. The statement adds that religious and traditional authorities must work with the federal, state and local government to expose and stop all forms of abuses that are widely known but ignored for many years by communities. This is the news on NTA International. We're reaching you from Abuja. Stay for more news after this time out.
Hey you! And are you at the top too? Sabi you now. It's in day your mind, Abi. The person we can go here us. Baba Torosa, Shangalo, Ogalekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one. A spear into the top hole. We sabi say Peking go crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Serie A and La Liga matches live. Go for Go TV Max.
Up next is a review of stories that made headlines in the past few days, and Ilyas Ali Yakubu is a guide.
To have you join me on this news segment, Week in Review, where we bring to your viewing pleasure reports that made headlines during the week. Let's begin with the World Conference on the 74th United Nations General Assembly, where world leaders converge on New York to deliberate on climate change, poverty eradication, quality education, insecurity, among other issues. President Muhammadu Buhari was among world leaders at the summit, where he announced a more robust plan of action and critical pathways towards confronting climate change, as well as reversing its consequences on the nation's socio-economic aspiration. President Muhammadu Buhari, who said these while addressing the United Nations Climate Action Summit in New York, said the country is committed to achieving a resilient future. And delegates at the 74th United Nations General Assembly in New York held President Buhari's address to the 74th United Nations General Assembly, saying was from a position of knowledge. Even Nigerian delegates to the assembly described the address as one that not only touches the cross of the major global concerns, but also proffers the most practical remedy measures for sustainable peace and prosperity. Still in the week under review, President Muhammadu Buhari has launched the Integrated Sustainable Development Goals model as a policy formulation tool that will help in aligning the country's national development strategies and programs towards achieving the aspiration of Agenda 2030 as well as the lofty goals of the SDGs. President Buhari, who restated the commitment of the federal government towards lifting 100 million people out of poverty as a national development priority. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the nation is at the crucial point of economic history where every hand must be on deck in building a greater country, and calling on financial institutions to brace up for the challenge ahead in both human and infrastructure development. Seen in the week under review, as the National Assembly resumes, President Muhammadu Buhari has forwarded the 2020-2022 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, where he advised the National Assembly to operate the annual budget from January to December each fiscal year. The Federal Executive Council meeting during the week announced government plans to spend more than 200 billion naira in the construction of link roads connecting to the second Niger Bridge at Asaba and Onitsha ends. This was made known by Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting this Wednesday at the Presidential Villa in Abuja.
Thanks a lot, Ilyasu. Now, Nigeria and Ghana begin battle for supremacy in the 2019 Independence Anniversary Golf Tournament in Abuja. Olumide Eguntola has this and more on our sports update.
President Muhammadu Buhari says all forms of sports will receive adequate attention as he plans to take sports to the next level in Nigeria at the tee-off of the 3-day Independence Day Golf Tournament at the IBB International Golf and Country Club Abuja on Saturday. The President, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, also highlighted the importance road sport has been playing in uniting Nigerians, while also commending the club for maintaining the tradition of the yearly tournament, which we see players from Nigeria and Ghana go head-to-head.
Beyond a particular sport, we're going to develop other sports, and I think that golf is part of that bouquet.
The minister was also at the tennis section of the club, where the Independence Tennis Tournament is taking place. Public servants in the country have been encouraged to engage in regular keep fit exercises as a way of improving productivity in the workforce. This came to the fore at the monthly walk and jog exercise of the Federation of Public Service Games held on Saturday in Abuja, as part of activity to commemorate the 59th independence of the country.
When the population is made up of, the workforce is made up of healthy people, that is when the service can be productive.
Over 30 public servants took part in the September edition of the exercise. Government Secondary School winners of the 2019 NBA Power Forward Basketball Clinic, which ended on Friday at the Indoor Sports Hall Package B section of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. The boys team defeated Tukur Child Model School Dutse by 20 to 22 points to retain the title they won last year, while the female team also defeated Tukur Child Model School by 22 to 12 points to win the girls category.
Winning it is just like the best thing we can have.
If they take advantage of the opportunities they have in front of them, you don't know what can arise from it.
The 6th edition of the clinic saw participation from 30 secondary schools across the FCT. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
Next is Sunday's weather prospects for Nigeria and some cities of the world.